Welcome back to Thone's Nibbles, number 75. This is related to John chapter 7, yet a little while. This reading is from John chapter 7, verses 33 through 36. Then Jesus said to them, I shall be with you a little while longer, and then I go to him who sent me. You will seek me and not find me, and where I am you cannot come. Then the Jews said among themselves, Where does he intend to go, that we shall not find him? Does he intend to go to the dispersion amongst the Greeks and teach the Greeks? What is this thing he said? You will seek me and not find me, and where I am you cannot come. And this the title of this section is, Where is he going? Why is this in the Bible? The people do not truly understand the nature of Jesus. And this is some clarification about who he really is, and as opposed to who they think he might be. Who's it written to? It's a crowd of Jewish people. And the communications. Jesus' nature in space and time is hard for unbelievers to understand. And that's said. My actual training is in physics, so I think about space and time a lot. And the fact is that Jesus is God. And where is God at any particular instant? He's everywhere. And when is the end of time? There isn't one. When is the beginning of time? There isn't one. The only times that we know about that are of immediate relevance to God was the time of creation and the time when he basically says that's the end of time, which occurs. Well, it's funny because he gives us a 1,000-year transition period. I mean, technically the end of time, according to the book of Revelation, is when the seventh trumpet of the final judgment sounds. But that's literally quoting, that's the end of time. However, he still uses time references through 1,000 years and a little more beyond there. And then finally, when the new heaven and the earth appear, then to us, eternity has really begun, because every single person who is of God's will have the new body and the new soul, and we will all be in one accord from then on, because that's it. So, they can't, the people who, and particular unbelievers, believers can believe that by faith, but probably not understand it factually. But unbelievers who only have factually to fall back on cannot understand Jesus' nature in space and time. Application to my life. We must understand people, first of all, by what they say. But to fully understand, we need to be able to perceive the context, which is totally misunderstood in this case. They thought of solutions within their knowledge, but he spoke of places beyond their understanding. And, as I said, he's talking about going an infinite distance away to heaven. He's talking about, being, appearing and reappearing in time. those sorts of things. Whereas they are trying to say, well, it's going to take him, maybe 6 months to get to Rome and 9 months to get to London. I guess London wasn't really in their understanding at that time, but that's the kind of thing they would be thinking about. And so he thought, if we can't find him and we can't go there, this must be out to the Gentile world someplace, because that's the only other place there is. However, they forgot to look up. God says to me, belief justifies the impossible. Wow. You understand that our belief allows us to know that Jesus created everything. It allows us to know that He's going to come back and we're going to live forever. There are several things that our belief tells us. However, this is just a justification, because we, in our understanding of the earth, these things are impossible. So the belief is the only thing with which we can justify the impossible when it happens. And that is the essence of belief in God, is that there is a being out there who can do things which are inconceivable to us. A personal response. Lord, help us perceive the hearts of men, that we might help them. And that goes back to, if we only quote scriptures, and those scriptures are beyond that we use are beyond the reasonable possibility of things that they might understand, because they are unbelievers, we're not doing them any good. I can laboriously read through, most of the prophetic books of the Bible, and they're not going to understand a word of that, because it assumes belief before you begin. So we need to give them the little bits that are within their understanding, and then occasionally lay on them and because God loves you so much, He sent His Son to die so that you didn't have to. That is the kind of way that we might be able to help people. And we need to have some kind of perception in our senses that this person is ready to hear this particular story, and clearly unready to hear that story, because that story may mean a lot to us, but it's going to mean nothing to them until they understand this story. So that will finish this one, and we'll see you again